Well, hey, YouTube! It's Elvis Ammo here. Hey, today I wanted to kind of do something I get a lot of questions about, and it kind of goes into the whole theme I've been working lately. So I brought out just kind of a sample of lead objects that you can find that maybe some of you have not thought of. Most of you seasoned casters probably know all of this stuff, but there's a lot of folks out there that have no idea where to get lead, where to even think about finding lead. We have some states are just banning the whole idea of lead, and but there still may be some lead in places, even in states that don't like people casting bullets, or don't like lead, or whatever the reason is. But I brought some stuff out. I'm gonna point out some objects here, and I'm gonna bring up some other ideas of places you can go to get lead or call to find lead. I'm also going to show you a source of lead that is no longer around, and it's kind of hilarious. And then I also have a question for my audience, maybe a couple of questions. So here we go. First of all, places to find lead, right? This right here is plumbing, and a lot of you guys know, oh yeah, I know the plumbing. This is a heavy sucker right here. See, a little clean out under here. That's just a big old chunk of plumbing. So in order to find something like this, now in my case, I had a friend that just gave me this. He was like, hey Elvis, I got a chunk of lead for you. So he does some work, and sometimes he runs into stuff like this. So he gave me that, and other places that you can find lead. So in other words, with the plumbing, you can call some plumbers and say, hey, you got any lead? You know, and if you're in a state that if you mention bullets, somebody will vomit in their mouth, then you can just say you're looking for lead so that you can pour a ballast in your sailboat, or you want to mold some figurines or something like that they'll approve of. See, so you just tell them something like that. It don't matter what you tell them, but just get their lead. The other thing that you can do is you can call some roofers and say, hey, you old roofers, you got any roofing lead? And you'll find sheets of this, a heavy roll of lead right here, and you'll find where the roofers have tore off the old lead sheeting off the roof. That's a lot of lead right there. That's probably pure lead along with the plumber's lead. And this is, a lot of you might recognize this after I tell you what it is, if you don't already know. That's just one of those vents that go on your roof, and it's just been flattened out, see? Because this lead serves as a nice way to wrap it around your roof there at the bottom where it don't leak. Roofers will run into something like this, and also plumbers will. So this is kind of a hybrid. You'll find the plumbers that find it, and the roofers. Alright, and then there's some lead wire. Alright, lead wire, you'll find that with the plumbers. And this is a piece of lead, or at least I think it is, and it's kind of lead stock bar. You'll also find some of this from just going to a scrapyard. You can go to someone that scraps metal and ask them if they have any lead. And then there's this thing. It looks like some kind of counterweight. Somebody give me this. just a lead counterweight of some sort. You know, probably for, you know, I don't know, some type of a pump or something. I don't know. And then there's these things. I can't remember if somebody give me these or if I found these. I think I might have found these at the scrapyard, along with something else I'll show you in a minute. And maybe somebody can even tell me what these are. Alright, so here's what we got. I got a hole right there on each end there. And they seem to be hollow, like that. And this one, not sure if it's hollow or not, but it don't look hollow on that end. This one don't. And then you have this one. It's got a hole there. And you see me bend it. It's you know, it bends pretty easy. You know, it's lead as far as I know. But I got a question. Here's one of the questions that I have for somebody out there that maybe knows. Now this, as far as I'm concerned, it's lead. But there's a word right here, and it says tin. So is this tin? Could it possibly be? Because the T is not completely filled out there. Someone tell me if this is tin, because if it is, that would be awesome. Okay. Alright, because I've got a little bit of this stuff. So we got some tin here. Maybe. We'll find out. Maybe one of you guys know what this is. So then the next thing is we know all about, you know, like stick-on wheel weights. I'm not going to get into that too much. It's wheel weights, right? You go to the tire shops. You can call the tire shops. Call ahead and call all the tire shops. And instead of asking them to give it to you, just say, hey, do you have any wheel weights that I can maybe buy a little bit from you? Maybe offer them $20 for a bucket of it. Something like that. All right? There's an idea. And you know, you'll end up maybe getting some wheel weights. And if you get wheel weights, then you have a pretty good alloy here that you don't have to mix anything with. You know, it's, you know, good bullet casting alloy. So so there we got that. Now the next thing is I still got a hilarious story to tell you on where lead used to be. But before I tell you that, the next thing that you can do is you can go to yard sales and thrift stores and that kind of thing, and you'll find stuff like this. And this is pewter. Like the bottom of this, it says genuine pewter right there. And if there's silver in there and somebody thinks there is, tell me, because I won't melt it down for bullets. Alright, so you'll find stuff like this, you know, little vases and candlestick holders and dishes like this, and it's just pewter. You'll see the somebody sees something valuable there, let me know too. But this is all just soft pewter. Alright, now the pewter is mostly tin, just about all tin. Some of the lower grades of pewter might have lead in them, but mostly tin and maybe a little bit of antimony, something like that. Some of them you might have a mix of something else in there, but mostly tin, which is good because if we have pure lead and we're casting bullets, then we can add a little bit of tin and maybe some antimony that we can buy from like Rotometal. So say for instance you have this, you know, a couple of 100 pounds of lead and you just need to add some antimony so that you can harden your bullets up You know, if you're not making shotgun slugs or muzzle loader slugs, then you might need some antimony. You can go to like rotometals.com and order some antimony. So next, not to get off too much on all of the mixing of lead, but the next thing, before I get to a couple other stories I got for you, the next thing is things that I don't have on this table. For instance, is like you could go to boat yards, you know, that have boats that they don't want, that has a big old, like a sailboat with a keel. Some of those keels might weigh 800 pounds, you know, so that's one way, if you don't mind cutting the keel off of a sailboat, something like that, right? So that's a big chunk of lead. The other places would be like you could go to maybe a scuba shop, for instance, and they have those lead weights that they wear around their waist for ballast to bring them down to the bottom, right? So some of those old styles of weights still exist all over the place. It's full of lead, you know, so that's another thing, just something to think about. All right, now I got one more question for you, and then I'll give you the story about where you can't find lead anymore. That's hilarious. Alright, I got some stuff right here that I bought a while back at a scrapyard, and I just knew that it was probably tin or lead or something like that. The guy didn't even know what it was. He said, look, because I think I was buying some of this stuff and a couple other things, and he's like, you can just have it, you know. It was like for, I don't know, a nickel a pound or whatever is what he sold it to me, I believe. But this is what I have right here. Now I believe that these are fuses. Well, they are fuses as far as I'm concerned. Okay, I've tried to look stuff up on them, and I know that they're fuses. The thing that I don't know is what are they made out of. So I'm just going to give you, one of you guys know, maybe. I'm just going to kind of show you what I got here, and then I'll give you a couple of close-ups with some numbers and names on them. Alright, so these are fuses as far as I'm concerned. I think they're tin. They might have some lead in there with it. This is one that has some names on it. Let's see if I can get that in. Yeah. If anybody knows what this is, but mostly what it's made out of, it's really what I want to know. Is it made out of tin or is it lead? What is it? Alright, so I'm going to give you a look at, and I've got a pretty good bit of these, and that's why I got about a half a bucket of them or something, and I know on their own they're worth like $5 a piece or something, right? But I wouldn't know where to sell them, but I do know that if they're lead or tin, I can use them. I'm going to give you maybe something else here. As much information as I can give you. Maybe somebody can help me. With any of this. I'm going to give you another one here. So they're, see, like this is a 50 amp fuse as far as I know. I'm going to put it back up here again. Maybe there'll be a chance of it coming through there. See if I can see that. Kind of looks like it's coming through there. So maybe one of you guys, one of you smart electricians that work on big generators or something like that, will be able to tell me what that is. Now, on to the funny stuff. Well, I think it's funny. Alright, so here, this is an example of something. I got this from an old fella while back. It's a good while back, I guess, but this is all lead, and you already know what it is looking at it. These used to be the types of things that you would find wrapped up on champagne bottles and wine bottles, wrapping up around the cork. And so they had lead on our wine bottles, and they were banned back in the late 80s to early 90s, and a couple of lawsuits ensued. So you can tell that they're lead by looking at them. It's just lead foil that used to be wrapped up on our champagne bottles and wine bottles. You pull them off, and so this is just a can full of wrappers that are banned. I could probably get arrested for this. So anyway, that's let me show you one more fuse that I had. I don't know, maybe this will help too. I'm gonna throw this fuse up there just in case somebody missed the last one. What it looked like. I had another piece here that I thought would show up. Turn it at a couple different angles here. There. Yep. So anyway, this used to be wrapped up on your wine bottle, and the instructions said, I guess after this was banned, you know, in California they were probably, you know, rolling over, spitting and vomiting and everything over this, you know, but but on the instructions, you know, after the ban, I guess they had to put warning labels and that kind of thing on there, and they would say, you know, that when you pull the foil off, wipe the bottle with a damp cloth, and then there was other instructions on wipe it with dampen a rag with vinegar and wipe the bottle off before you pour it, that kind of thing. So anyway, I just thought that was hilarious. Had our lead, for a lot of people that don't know, I know that many of you guys do know, but lead wrapped up on our drinking bottles. Wine bottles, champagne bottles. So that's some old lead. I've just kind of hung on to it. But so those are some places to find lead. Don't be scared to call the plumbers, the roofers, the tire shops, and you know, like some people I've heard in the comment section from other videos, they'd go in and bring a box of donuts and come out with a bucket of lead. That's another good thing. Make friends with the tire guys, that kind of thing. So I guess that'll do it for this video, and hopefully somebody give me an answer why this says 10 on it. I don't know, but maybe somebody can get some help. I'm giving some help, and maybe I'll get some help back. I'll see you guys in the next video.